look for an occupation that you like, and you will not need to labor for a single day in your life. Welcome to Career Corner.
Well, hello, I'm Patrick Howell. I'm the host for Career Corner. And Career Corner is a show designed to provide practical and topical information that serves to inspire, empower, and inform our viewers towards job search, employment, and general skills for the modern workforce. Our guest today, I'm actually thrilled to have Marjorie Kavanagh, who is the president of Panoramic Resumes, located in Colts Neck, New Jersey. Marjorie is going to be today help us understand the resume writing business and what it takes to be successful in that career. So, welcome, Marjorie.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for having me today. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's excellent to have you on. So, Marjorie, why don't we start? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Panoramic Resumes and the services that you offer?
Sure. Panoramic Resumes, Patrick, is basically a full service job search company. And what I mean by that is, yes, we do provide resumes for our clients. We work with people anywhere from college graduates to mid-level professionals to CEOs. But we also provide everything that's needed for you to find a job, whether it's your cover letter or thank you letter from an interview or interview coaching. We also work with social media, so we will also write and build your LinkedIn profiles for you and also show you how to navigate LinkedIn to leverage all of its services so that you can network and find a job. We also provide interview preparation, job search consultation, and executive biographies.
And so, Marjorie, you're finding that as a professional resume writer, that it sounds like all of these services, all the things that you're mentioning, are really important to the job search. It's no longer, then from what I'm hearing, just write a resume and that's it. That's not what you do, right? No,
not at all, because you know, back in the day, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, your resume was not only the foundation, it was the only thing that you needed other than networking to find a job. Today, you kind of need a portfolio for yourself of coaching, strategies, and basically a lot of tech savvy to know how to manipulate social media and also online applications. And so at Panoramic, we provide all those services so that if you are 40 or 50 and you all of a sudden find yourself having to relaunch a career or start a new one, we will help you re-enter the market because it's much different than years ago.
Yeah, and that's a big challenge nowadays, right? For people who want to come back into the workforce, it takes more than just having a resume. It takes somebody, an expert like yourself, to sort of get people ready and involved in all of these areas, because social media is a big one as well.
Right, and there's, rightfully so, there's a lot of apprehension that goes along with someone who is, as we're saying, re-entering or find themselves unemployed, and at the age of 40 or 50, the last time they've had to do this is maybe 20 or 30 years ago. So we like to ease the apprehension and really create a sense of comfortability with the process, too.
Yeah, great. And, you know, there's so many resume-ready companies out there today, right?
There's a plethora of them.
Yeah, you can sort of do a Google search and, you know, find hundreds. And
probably thousands.
Probably,
right.
Yeah, probably right. Thousands of resumes. So Panoramic, and you probably already touched on it a little bit, but your organization, what sets you apart from some of those other organizations? And, you know, maybe perhaps what is your business philosophy?
Okay, and you're right, I guess I did touch on it a little bit, but I will explain it. I think what differentiates Panoramic Resumes is that although we do work with clients across the country, I really like to focus geographically for where our headquarters is, because I really feel that if you can meet with a client face-to-face, in person, that makes the difference of not only being able to produce the right output for them, to achieve what they want for in a resume and all the job search services, but also we're dealing with people who are mostly unemployed. And that's a hard thing to do. There's a lot of apprehension, there's a lack of confidence, and so I find that being able to meet with people one-on-one, it really becomes a partnership. I'm not delivering a product, I'm delivering a service in partnership with the client, so that I want the client to be ready after meeting with us face-to-face to even go on an interview just through the process.
So it sounds like, as you know, I'm a consultant. It
Yes.
sounds like you're as a resume writer, you're acting as a consultant for these people as well.
Absolutely, because I too share that same profession too. I am a professional coach too. So I kind of, where I personally do coaching, I try to blend the coaching also into every interaction I have with a client. Again, so that it's not a product base, it's a service consulting support based business.
Yeah. So if a viewer was at home and saying to themselves, hey, I want to start a career, and maybe a career as a resume writer would be the right avenue for me. Are there specific characteristics or traits or skill sets that you would say are really important for someone to have in order to enter this field?
I would say so, Patrick. Probably foremost is the ability, I guess using the Panoramic Resumes business philosophy, is the ability to really establish not only rapport but trust with your clients. Your client has to trust that they can lay it out all on the table, tell you about their life, tell you about their business, and going along with that, you have to be a good interviewer, a good listener, and then also able to probe, because people are talking about things they don't normally talk about. They're very uncomfortable to talk about their accomplishments or to tell you across the table, well, this is how great I am. But that's really what I need to know. So all of those soft skills and interpersonal skills are very important. Next, I would say, obviously, writing. Not only business writing, but writing with a little bit of marketing in it, and to be able to write concisely.
Okay.
And the other thing is getting back to the technology, being savvy with LinkedIn and being savvy with all the job posting, online job boards, and then also being savvy for knowing what the employers are looking for. Now, my background, I started in this business as a human resource professional. So now I'm on the other side of the desk. So I do understand, and I think it's important for resume writers to understand what is it that employers are looking for. Because if you don't know that, you can't write a resume.
Yeah, okay. So for you, one of the things that it sounds like really important is that personal touch.
Absolutely.
So if someone was interested in sort of getting into this business, would you recommend that they really plan on that they plan on sort of going above and beyond? It's not just take somebody's information over the phone and then put out a resume. If you want to be successful.
If you want to be successful, absolutely. I would say almost 100% of the time the clients that come to me say, now can I meet with you in person? That's why I called you. I read it on your website that you do meet with people in person, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that personal touch. And many of them have already had the experience of working only through email or through an internet website, and they come to me to have their resumes rewritten.
Oh, okay. And you said a word there a little bit ago that really stood out to me. Is something about people need to feel comfortable. I think was your language. And maybe you can explore that a little bit. Why, in writing a resume, does a client have to feel comfortable? What does that have to do with a resume?
Okay. Actually, it's a good and fair question. Most of my clients are unemployed. So they come to the table with lack of confidence, low self-esteem. And so to feel comfortable, I don't want them to feel as if they're in need, not with me or with an employer. So I want to build their confidence and their comfort in speaking with someone about their accomplishments, so that in a conversation, in an interview, when I say to you, well, tell me about some of the great things you've done as a sales professional in the insurance field. I don't want them to feel shy about saying, I was the greatest one there, I exceeded all the goals. So I want to build that comfort and take them into a comfortable zone, rather out of their, I want to draw them out and have them feel comfortable about themselves and feel confident.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to be what a resume writer does, but that's what I prefer to do.
That's what you prefer to do. And it's obviously been successful for you. So in the resume writing business, in order for somebody to sort of break into this this field, is it number one, is it a capital intensive business to break into? Does it cost a lot of money for to sort of get involved? Actually,
it doesn't, and that's the neat thing about it. Your storefront to the world is a website, and so you can do anything from creating a website for free through WordPress, or actually have one professionally built, which could cost you a couple of $1,000s. But it's up to you. The only capital that you need at home is a really good laptop and updated software. So it's not capital intensive at all to start a career. And as far as promoting your business, if you are savvy with social media, that's another way to promote it. But I've been able to promote my business over the past 5 years through my website, through a column that I write for the Journal, which is a column that's a magazine that's distributed throughout Monmouth County, and it goes to about 75,000 homes.
Okay.
And quite frankly, at this point, I'm getting all my business through referrals also.
Yeah. So it sounds like in order to sort of generate business, the old word of mouth, referrals is the way. So involving yourself then in those ancillary things, writing for the Journal, an article,
right.
and are all things that actually help somebody, in this business sort of move ahead.
Right. And it's actually a lesson for job searchers. I network, but use different ways of networking. I also do a lot of volunteer work in the community. So it's all of these little things that as a business owner, if you really think about it, it's networking. So it's kind of what you want to pass on to clients too. If you want to get business, get a job, you have to network.
Yeah, and those are skills that you actually teach as well, the
yes.
network, the networking skills, the job search. When people, how does somebody know that number one, that they have a good resume? Like, how would somebody know if that they're putting together a good resume? So let's just say I start a business and I'm doing it. What are some key things to sort of keep honing on?
Well, the first all-proof test is, are you getting interviews? Because really the very first primary purpose of a resume is to land you an interview. So if you're applying for jobs, obviously within your profession or within your skills and abilities, you should be getting interviews. The other test is the Ladders recently did a survey, and they found that recruiters will spend no more than 6 seconds before they make a go, no-go decision on your resume.
Oh, okay.
So have professionals and colleagues look at your resume for 6 seconds and see what they're learning from your resume. The 6-second rule works. And I have one other one, which is my 1 in 100 rule. If you're in a room with 100 people, and the CEO of the company that you want to work for comes in, why, after looking at 100 resumes, is he going to pick yours? Yeah. What are you going to prove to him? So those are my 3 litmus tests that I use.
Do you feel optimistic as far as that resume writing and job search consulting is a growing field? I mean, the unemployment rate is extremely high, so there must be a lot of work out there for people wanting to break into this field. And I know you don't want to give all your secrets, right? But you've been successful. Is it optimistic for somebody to say, hey, I want to get into this line of work?
It is, but I would say don't get in the line of work unless your heart's there. Don't get in the line of work just to produce volume of resumes, because in the end, those resumes won't work. Don't get into I would say if you want to become a resume writer or anything in job search consulting, do it because you really care about helping people who are unemployed get jobs, or about helping people advance their careers. But yes, bottom line, to answer your question, however you approach resume writing, you can get a very quick and fast start, but can you last? Do it right.
Okay, yes. Can you actually stay in business doing it?
Exactly.
So if you were to sort of round out again for for someone at home who's interested in this as a career, maybe the top 3 things or the top 3 skills or characteristics or traits that you feel would help somebody be successful in a resume writing, job search consulting business, what would they be again?
I would think, well, to go beyond what we've already talked about, I would say that you have to continuously learn. Be a student of your trade, because every single day on the internet someone is writing something new or changing the rules. The rules of the resume have changed so much over the past 10 to 15 years. So you can't get in a box and stay in the box. You have to stay on top of the rules of the resume, the rules of the job search, even on how LinkedIn, which seems maybe by month, changes the features of their profiles and how you work. So you can open the door to your business, but if you don't keep looking out the window of what else is going on, you won't last long either. Yeah,
excellent. Well, Marjorie, in just a few seconds, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to have an opportunity to delve into a little bit more of the essence of a good resume.
Great, that would be terrific.
A good resume. So thank you very much for watching Career Corner, and we'll be back shortly.
There's a monster in my bathtub. innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
Well, welcome to Career Corner. I'm Patrick Howell. Career Corner is the show where we are out front in helping our viewers to find employment and be inspired and empowered through certain skill building. Our guest today is Marjorie Kavanagh. Marjorie is the president and owner of Panoramic Resumes. Welcome, Marjorie.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for having me today.
Well, yeah. Thanks so much for being on the show. So, in our previous discussion, we talked about the business of resume writing as a whole. So, if someone wanted to get into resume writing, and I think you gave some really fabulous ideas for what the field is like and what it takes to be successful in that sort of industry. So, let's go to sort of switch topics a little bit here. There's a concept that I've heard, and maybe you can sort of expand on this for us a little bit here, something called the new resume. Now, I'm not in this field, so to me, new resume versus old resume, maybe you can shed a little light on what that actually means.
Absolutely, sure, Patrick. And it's important to know today because the quote-unquote old resume just doesn't work anymore. And when I say old resume, what I mean is for some of us who entered the workforce 20 or 30 years ago, the resumes were very static. You could use the same resume for any job you applied for, and it kind of all started out the same with an objective where you told the employer the job you were looking for. And then that objective was preceded by a laundry list of your job titles, accompanied by job responsibilities. And so you basically were reading job descriptions for the jobs that you did. That has changed and evolved so much that if I used my resume from 20 years ago, that was the exactly as I described, I would not land one interview. Because the resume of 20 or 30 years ago was a resume that told the employer what you wanted to do. It was all about you. Big change. Now the resume is telling an employer overall what you can do for them. So if you can accomplish showing an employer what your value is to them, that in your career you have had accomplishments and that you're very highly motivated to succeed, and that also you would fit in their organization. So now we're talking about culture too.
Sure.
The resume has changed. So now what does it look like, to your question of the new resume? The objective is actually replaced with, and there are many ways to describe this, but your personal branding or your individual value. What can you tell an employer up front why you're valuable to them? Not what you want, but why you're valuable to them. The second thing is now instead of the job description list or the laundry list of your responsibilities, we need to quantify, really analyze our work and come up with accomplishments, hopefully quantifiable and in the context, again, of what would be meaningful to the employer.
Sure. So it sounds like it's not just about writing the resume, it's also a sort of a shift in the mindset of the person who's sitting down to do it, right?
Absolutely.
And the old, what's in it for me it should be taken now from the employer's standpoint. So we want to write a resume that speaks, so the employer looks at the resume and says, wow, here's what's in it for me if I hire this person, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. So that if you were a sales professional and now you're putting together your new resume, whereas before your resume, one of your duties may have been to manage a territory in Monmouth County, New Jersey, selling widgets. And that would have been fine to state. Now you have to say managed a territory in Monmouth County, New Jersey, grew the portfolio by 20%, led sales, and to just say you grew by 20%, you have to go beyond that. Because what was your goal? Was your goal to improve by 20 or 30? So did you meet your goal or not?
Yeah.
So everything in context to prove your value.
Yeah. And in the consulting end, where I come from, it literally is sort of demonstrating the value, right? It's demonstrating the value, and it sounds like if you write a good resume, that has to be put in that resume like that. It's no longer, hey, I want this job because I want to make a lot of money or fulfill all my dreams.
Right. Exactly.
It's about I'm the right person for this job, the right fit, and I can provide your company or your organization specific value.
Absolutely. And there are other items too, two others. now, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is employers want to know that you would fit in their organization. Now, I always refer to this because I think it's easy for people to understand. Can you play nice in the sandbox?
Sure.
Will you get along with others, with your colleagues, cross-functionally, across divisions, departments, globally? Because a lot of work is done virtually now. Will you be a fit in their culture? And that's something you can show on a resume.
And how would you show that on a resume? How would somebody sort of make that stand out? That, hey, because that is a really important thing. I've been on the hiring end, and I know people could have all the skills in the world, and if we don't feel like as though they're a good fit for the organization, then they're not a good fit. But how do you show that?
Well, there are a number of ways to show it. Again, when I'm working with my clients, I try to find out everything about them, meaning who's your supervisor? Who did you work with? Are they a vice president? Are they a director? What did they ever say about how you work or get along with people? Did you work in a team? Did you work on a project team? Who else in the organization did you interact with? Again, getting back to the sales example, in sales, a lot of sales professionals work with contract people, attorneys, and all different people across the organization. So, how did you work with all of those people? And so you can relate to an employer that you were able to work cross-functionally, productively, establish good relationships, and also on the client side, if you're in sales. Well, did you build long-term customer relationships, or did you just sell a widget and run? So there are many ways, and so we have to help our clients think about those things. Even their interactions have to be shown on a resume.
Yeah, so it's not really just information anymore.
No,
you have to tell your story.
Absolutely, a full picture story.
A full picture story of who you are, where you've been, and geez, how I can add value and create, how I have credibility to come work.
Exactly,
for you.
exactly.
Are there real specific must-haves in the new resume? Never mind the old. We're done with the old. The old is gone.
Right.
In the new resume, are there some specific must-haves?
Well, in addition to everything I've already mentioned, keywords.
Okay.
Keywords are words that employers use to in their job postings. It's their language. It's their description of what they're looking for in a candidate. Now, how does this all come in? So that getting back to the old resume, which was static, the new resume is dynamic. So that every time you apply for a job, you must be willing to take the time to weave some of those keywords into your resume. Because today, employers use resume readers, software, to scan resumes, and they will key in the keywords that they are looking for. So that if you're not matching up your resume with what the keywords are, it may never get seen by a human being. So if your resume doesn't have keywords, and for people out there who manage websites and do SEO optimization, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, so those keywords are really important, and you come from human resources. So you know that some of these resumes, literally, right? So somebody sitting even with a halfway decent resume, if they don't have these keywords in their resume, then sometimes they're just getting discarded with it. No eyes, no human eyes have touched it, is what you're saying.
No human eyes will see it yet.
Isn't it?
And today, with the large businesses and corporations, that's the only way they'll accept your resume, is online applications. And that's because they're reading the resumes with the software. So you must have the keywords.
Yeah, you must have them.
Okay. And then other basics, Patrick, for a resume is that it must be neat. It must be clean, and actually there must be white space. So you can't make the margins, 2.2 all around. You have to show some nice, clean, white space, concise and consistent formatting, and it must be easy to read.
Yeah, okay. So if someone takes the time and they put all these keywords in, they speak about value, what's my value, what can I provide to the organization, and they have something in front of them, right, that they feel is a good resume. Is there a litmus test, right? Because they're not pros, right? You're a pro at this. So is there a litmus test that would say, hey, this resume could be competitive, in today's workplace? Yeah,
there's a few things that they can do. Number one is if they've already been sending their resume out, are you garnering interviews? Number two is what I call the go, no-go in 6 seconds. TheLadders.com did a survey, and they were able to reveal, through using scanning technology of what recruiters looked at when they read a resume, they were able to determine that recruiters, once they get a hand on your resume, only take 6 seconds to make a go, no-go decision on your resume. So, hand your resume out to trusted friends or professionals and give them 6 seconds to read the resume and ask them what they've learned.
Yeah.
My other litmus test is the 1 in 100 test. If you're 1 in 100 people in a room and the CEO of your dream company comes into that room, after reading 100 resumes, why is he coming to you for yours? So how are you going to make yourself stand out?
Yeah. So Marjorie, if someone at home decides, okay, that they don't want to take the route of writing their own resume, right? It's just not a skill set they have, or they don't even want to be bothered trying to do it. It sounds like there's a whole lot going into it, and that's why it's a business, right? It's not everybody can do this, or even wants to do it. And they want to go out and find a resume writing company, like a group that can do this for them and do a good job. There's so many out there now. What advice would you give in the selection of finding somebody who could actually do a good job for you as writing your resume?
It's actually a really good question, because I think it's all about personal fit for each client. And so I would first recommend that people actually ask their friends and relatives for any type of referrals. But also do your research. You can go online and Google a plethora of resume writing companies. But after you do that, I would say ask yourself first, what is the level of interaction that you want with your resume writer?
Okay.
Do you want it to be phone, email, or in person? Once you decide that, then if you decide in person, it narrows down your choice, obviously. But that would be one thing, because the level of contact with resume writers goes across the spectrum of never speaking with them and only working through email or meeting in person, which is what we do at Panoramic Resumes. Yeah. From there, you want to know that there's a fit. You want to make sure once you contact the company that you're actually going to speak with the person who will write your individual resume.
Yeah, that sounds important, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you should really probably focus on. So looking at other people's work is one way that you mentioned, right? Making sure that we have an opportunity to see what these companies are actually doing. Then using the sort of litmus test and the must-haves to see if those resumes are fitting this new format versus the old format. You also mentioned, Marjorie, shopping your resume around to friends or showing it to friends and trusted people. Are there other services? Do you, for example, offer an opportunity to look at people's resumes through Panoramic just to see, hey, take a quick glance and understand if this is going to be competitive or not? Absolutely.
We welcome anyone to either send their resume through our website. We have an easy e-form where you can upload your resume either in Word or PDF format, or just simply give us a call. And we will spend 15 minutes on the phone speaking with you and just telling you what your resume looks like to us. Because I've been on the other side as an employer, and I do know exactly what people are looking for. And so, yeah, we totally welcome those phone calls.
Yeah, so sort of like in summary, and I'll sort of try to summarize here. So the old resume sort of listed the qualities that you have, or like this, this sort of numbers on the page.
Right.
The new resume is saying to an employer, hey, here's what I can offer you of value.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's key, right? That's probably one of the key points that I heard you saying. Any sort of, we're about 30 seconds left, any last bits of advice in sort of creating this new resume that you might want to offer?
I think the one bit of advice I would offer is if you do write your own resume, don't get stuck on not wanting to make changes because you like what you wrote. Really listen to people if they say, maybe this will work better or this will work better. We all like what we write, but it doesn't mean it would work.
Perfect, Marjorie. We're going to have to end it there, but thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching Career Corner, where we are out front helping you to find employment and build skills.